In Module 1, you took a quiz over the NAEYC Code of Ethical Conduct, and we will continue to use the code and the Administrator Supplement throughout this course to analyze situations in which you will find yourselves as an administrator. For this module, we will review 2 case studies and how they are analyzed, and then you will be asked to respond to the analysis in a journal entry. Next module, you will actually analyze 2 case studies yourself. Olivia, so the first is the birthday cake. Olivia is the director of an early childhood program that is committed to serving healthy foods. The center does not serve cookies, cakes, or other foods that are high in sugar, fat, or preservatives. The program's family handbook describes these policies. It states clearly that birthday cakes are not allowed. The nutrition policy strongly encourages families to celebrate special events with healthy foods such as berries, watermelon, sliced fruit, vegetable plates, and vegetable pizza. Another important part of the program's philosophy is to develop close relationships with all the families. Olivia strives to honor families' values and to welcome warmly children and their families each day. One morning, Mrs. Chang, a mother new to the center who has been shy about participating and whose mastery of the English language is limited, arrives with a large, elaborately decorated cake to celebrate the birthday of her daughter, Mei Zin. What is your first reaction? To whom does Olivia have responsibilities? And what should she consider as she prepares to respond to this mother? Like the case studies we are going to study throughout this semester, this situation requires an early childhood educator to balance responsibilities to a child with those to the child's family. In this instance, it is the program director who is faced with making a difficult decision. The analysis of this case was first published in the Focus on Ethics column in Young Children in 2013. And it reflects the feedback and comments from teachers, directors, graduate students, and college faculty who responded to the dilemma. So first, we will walk through determining the nature of the problem. This involves ethics because Olivia must decide on the right and most fair course of action. It is an ethical dilemma because she must decide if she will follow the center policy designed to promote healthy eating and refuse to serve the cake, or disregard the policy and serve the cake. If she refuses, Mrs. Chang is likely to be upset at having her well-intentioned offering rebuffed. If Olivia allows the cake to be served, her relationship with this mother may be preserved, but the children will consume an undesirable amount of sugar. Olivia is also well aware that if she allows the cake to be served, families who have followed the no sweets policy are likely to be upset. Thus, we have the conflicting responsibilities. So we brainstorm solutions. The best way for the director to proceed is not clear in this situation. One way for Olivia to resolve this dilemma would be to give the first priority to her responsibility to promote healthy eating as described in the policy. That means she would acknowledge and thank Mrs. Chang for her contribution and respectfully explain that the cake would not be served because Olivia must abide by the program's policy regarding healthy food. Olivia could invite Mrs. Chang to join the class to celebrate Mei Zin's birthday and share the center's healthy snack. The alternative would be to give first priority to nurturing a good relationship with Mrs. Chang. In that case, Olivia would warmly thank her, take the cake to the classroom, and serve it. If she decides to do that, she would make sure to have the center's policies translated into Mrs. Chang's home language and would review them with her carefully at a later date, using a translator if necessary. Each of these choices has advantages and disadvantages, and both can be justified using the NAEYC code. When have you been in a situation where you felt that the policy might damage your relationship with a child's family? And what did you do? What resources helped you handle that situation? There is not time to finesse this situation much. She has to respond quickly. The mother is standing there with this beautiful cake and a smile on her face. What should she do? She knows that if she goes to explain herself, that the language barrier is going to continue to be a challenge. Deciding on her justifiable course of action, she will look at the NAEYC code. She looks and can see that the core values that are addressed here are appreciate and support the bond between the family and child, respect to the dignity, worth, and uniqueness of each individual, respect diversity in children, families, and colleagues, recognize that children and adults achieve their full potential in the context of relationships that are based on trust and respect. She also appreciates from the administrator supplement the well-being of the children in our care is our primary responsibility above our obligations to other constituencies. Olivia believes that Mei Zin would likely be very disappointed and perhaps embarrassed by her birthday cake being sent home, and that to do so would violate Principle 1.1. Above all, we shall not harm children. We shall not participate in practices that are emotionally damaging, physically harmful, disrespectful, degrading to children. She also finds that there's several items from the code of ideals and principles focusing on relationships and welcoming families. And from the administrator supplement, creating a climate of trust and candor and creating a respectful environment and a working relationship. And to not serve the cake would hurt all of those. Also, there's the decision not to serve the cake. And she would create and maintain a safe and healthy environment and healthy settings that foster child's development. And from the director's supplement, we shall establish clear operating policies and make them available to families. We shall apply all policies regarding obligations to families consistently and fairly. And we shall respond to families' requests to the extent that the requests are congruent with program philosophy, standards of good practice, and the resources of the program. So what should she do? What would you do? Well, I'm actually not going to read to you what the teacher actually did or how people actually responded, but we will address this again later on. Instead, you will answer some questions in the journal and come to your own conclusion about what this director should do. You will pull specifically on the Code of Ethics as I have just read. You will find the different principles and ideals, write them down along with your justification for the questions in the journal.